Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom, welcome back to today's Daf Pesachim Pei. We are 3 lines from the bottom of Ayin Tes Amud Beis. Says the Gemara Gufa, let's review the brayso that we just learned. Harei shahayu Yisrael mechza tahirin umechza tamein. Suppose Yisrael was split evenly. Half were tamei, half were tar. Halalu oisin la'atzman. A tahirin will proceed and bring their Pesach b'tahara. V'halalu oisin la'atzman. And the half tamein will bring their Pesach b'tumah. This is in line with Rab's Shita. Mechza mechzas kiroiv. Each half has chashivas as though they would be the majority. Therefore, each segment, each section of Klal Yisrael will bring their own type of Pesach. The tahirin will bring b'tahara, and the tamein b'tumah. Hayu tamein oitfen ala tahirin. Afilu echad. Suppose there was even one extra tamei than tar. 51 tamein, 49 tahirin, yasa b'tumah. Now all of Yisrael will bring b'tumah l'vishein, korban tzibur cholak. We're not meant to split a korban tzibur. Even the tahirin follow suit. Rabbi Yehuda ben Masya Eimer, ein hayachad machriyas atzibur l'tumah. He says that one person can't really influence matters here. Shenamar lo yisuchal lizbayach as a pesach be'achad she'orecha. Let's take a look at Rashi on top. Lo yisuchal lizbayach as a pesach be'achad. We apply a drasha. B'shvil yachad lo yisiz b'chenu. Don't be sheiched the korban pesach on account of an individual. Shehei oisa hayachad goyrem u'moyel b'shchitosai shum tzad natia. To have an individual influence the proceedings here, determine the status of the korban pesach and sway things one way or the other. According to Rabbi Eliezer ben Masya, you need at least 2 tmein overlapping, which would then establish this korban pesach as a korban pesach b'tumah, in which case all of Yisrael will bring b'tumah. But otherwise, if you only have 1 overlapping, it is like half and half, in which case the tahirim bring their own, the tmein bring their own. Continues the Gemara. Rabbi Shimon Eimer, afilu shevet echad tamei. You don't need half tamein to allow those tamein to bring betumah, even if only 1 shevet is tamei. Ushar kol shvatim tahirin. With all other shvatim being tahir, halalu oisin la'atzman. The tahirim will bring their own betara, v'halalu oisin la'atzman, and the tameim will bring their own korban pesach betumah. My time with Rabbi Shimon. What's the reason for this? Because Savar Shevet Echad Ikri Kol, even 1 Shevet, is considered a Kol, a community, a Tzibur, which allows them to bring Betumah. Says Rashi, in the second line from the top of the Amud, Ikri Kol. How do we know this? Umilsu Mefarish Baharius, as the Gemara over there explains. The Ka'amar le'Rachmana le'Yaakov, Hashem says to Yaakov, he promises to him, Goy ukal goyim yemi Mecca. Goy and Kal Goyim will come out of you. Now all the Shvatim had already been born. Ukvar noidulay kol Shvatim chutz mi Binyamin, except for 1 Binyamin. Apparently, this reference of Kahal is a reference to 1 Shevet. Hilkach Shevet Echad. We see that even 1 Shevet is Chashav Ketzibur, and as a result, we say v'loy mitchi l'sheni. They don't get pushed off to Pesach Sheni. Reb Shimon, in theory, agrees with the Tanakama. If it's 1 more tamei than tar, then everybody will bring betumah. If it's half and half, then we don't say all bring betumah. Each segment brings separately. But according to Rabbi Shimon, you don't need 50-50. Even 1 shevet betumah allows that shevet to bring their Pesach betumah. Continues the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda Eimer, he takes it a step further. He takes Rabbi Shimon's concept and applies it even further. Afilu shevet echad tamei. Even if you have 1 shevet tamei, ushar kol shvatim tahirim, with all other shvatim being tahir, yasu betumah. Not only does this shevet, which is tamei, bring betumah, but all other shvatim follow suit. She'ein korban tzibur cholak. We're not meant to split the korban tzibur. Explains the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda Savar, he holds shevet echad ikri kol. 1 shevet is a kol, like Rabbi Shimon's svara. V'havalu palgol palga. Now it's as though Klal Yisrael is split evenly, half and half, which means that you have a full community who are tamei. You have a kohol who are tamei on one side of the scale. On the other side of the scale, you have the rest of Yisrael. It's as though you have half and half, because even one shevet has chashivas like half of Klal Yisrael. It's a call. You have one aspect of community which are tamei, another aspect of community which has tar. It's half and half. Ve'ein karban tzibur cholak. And when I'm meant to split a karban tzibur, va'avdi kula b'tumah. And as a result, everyone follows suit and brings the karban pesach b'tumah. So in conclusion, we have 4 shittas. Tanakama holds, when it's mechza, each segment brings separately. When do they all bring b'tumah? When you have even just one tummy overlapping. Rabbi Eliezer ben Masya holds, one tummy overlapping is like half and half, in which case each segment brings separately. When you have 2 overlapping, then all bring b'tumah. Rabbi Shimon holds, one shevet tummy allows that shevet to bring b'tumah. Elul atzman, elul atzman. If you have one overlapping at 51 versus 49 in Klal Yisrael, being tummy, that roiv allows all to bring b'tumah. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't seem to subscribe to the concept of elul atzman, elul atzman. He holds that when there's anybody bringing b'tumah, even just one shevet, which is considered like a call, which allows them to bring b'tumah, that aspect of tzibur, of call, of community, necessitates that all Yisrael will follow suit and bring the Pesach b'tumah she'ein karban tzibur chalak. Continues the Gemara. Itmar, we learned how Yisrael mechza tahirin and mechza tmein. Suppose Yisrael was split evenly, half tar and half tummy. What do we do? Amarav, metamen echad men b'sheretz. We take one of the tahirin and we're metamen with a sheretz, which now leaves us with most of Yisrael Tmein, and now they can proceed and bring their Karban Pesach B'tumah. Why? We want them to be able to bring the Pesach Rishon, and unless you do this, they can't. Why? V'amai. Why is this necessary? Ni'avdu hani l'chudayu, v'hani l'chudayu. When you have half and half, the Tmein should do their Pesach B'tumah, and the Ta'ir and B'tahara. What do you have to go through this procedure? The Amar Rav, because Rav himself told us yesterday, Halal oisin la'atzman, halal oisin la'atzman. When it's half and half, each section, each segment does it separately. Amri, they answered like this. Hachab ma'eskinan. We're speaking about the following case. Kugan shahayu Tmein oitfin ala Tahirin echad. You had 51 Tmein and 49 Tahirin. In which case the Tahirim cannot bring the Pesach B'tahara, because they are mostly Tmeim. The Tahirim don't account for half of Yisrael and don't have a chashivas of roiv. Only half is considered like roiv, but now there are 49. And therefore, to allow the Tahirim to bring the Pesach Rishon, we go ahead and we add another one to the Tmeim. Instead of 51, we have now 52. In which case, a clear majority of Yisrael Tameh, and everybody will bring the Pesach B'tumah, Pesach Rishon. Ihachi, says the Gemara. Well, if you have 51 Tmei and Havalu Ruba Tmeim, you have a majority of Klal Yisrael who are Tameh, Ne'avdu Kula B'tumah. Why can't everybody do B'tumah? Oh, Savla Rabbi Eliezer ben Masya. He was like that Shita. The Amar Ein HaYachad Macheres HaTzibur L'tumah. An individual can't sway matters. 51 won't allow everybody to bring their Karban Pesach B'tumah. That's why you have to add another one to the number of Tmeim. And now you have 52 versus 48. Everybody will bring B'tumah. If that's the case, that we're following the Shita, who doesn't now allow a Yachid to influence the proceedings, Hadar Kushin L'duchte. Go back to square one, go back to the Kasha. If it's not Roiv Tmeim, because 51 is not considered like a Roiv, then it says, oh, it's 50-50. When I was like 50-50, the Tmeim do their own thing, and the Torah do their own thing. Why do you have to worry about it? Ni'avdu hani l'chudai, v'hani l'chudai. The Tmeim should do their own, and the Torah their own. Elohi kamar. Apparently, this is what he meant to say. I'ika Tana, the Savalok Tana Kama. Suppose there's another Tana, an unknown Tana, a new Shita, who adopts, on one hand, the Shita of the Tana Kama, and on the other hand, Shita is Rabbi Yehuda, as we're going to see. a new hybrid shita. Ikatana the Savla Katana Kama. You always like the Tanakama on the one hand that the Omar Palgo Palgo Avda Kula Betuma. When you have half and half Tmeim and half Tahirin. Sure, each half has chashivas like Roiv. And the Tmeim do their own thing, Tahirin do their own thing. On the one hand, he holds of that element of the Tanakama. But on the other hand, he holds you can't split the tzibur. V'savalak Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar ein carbon tzibur cholok. He also subscribes to this Svar Rabbi Yehuda. That you're not meant to split a carbon tzibur. Rashi says it's a gnai. It looks disrespectful to the other members of Klal Yisrael if we separate, we do our own thing, we don't do betuma like they're doing. It's not nice. It's not respectful to the rest of Klal Yisrael. We're not meant to split a carbon tzibur. When some are doing betuma, all follow along and do betuma as well. If we have such a shita, which contains both elements, number one, the Tanakama's chiddush, that when you have half and half, the Tahirin can't go ahead and do betuma. They have to do their own thing. On the other hand, we say, well, you can't do your own thing because you can't disengage from the rest of Klal Yisrael. So we're stuck. We're in limbo. We're no here nor there. So again, we're speaking when it's exactly half-half. Exactly 50-50. That's the case of Rav. 50 Tahirin, 50 Tmein. The 50 Tahirin have a chashivas like Rav. They can't just follow along with the Tmein. They have to do their own thing, but they can't do their own thing because we're not meant to split a carbon tzibur. So what do we do now? What's the solution? Metaman echad mem b'sheretz. We take one of the Tahirin, we take a sheretz, and we metame him. Now we have 51 versus 49. Mostly Tmein. Now everybody can follow and do betuma. That's Rav's solution. V'ula Amar, he has a different solution. Rather than being metame him with a sheretz, let's take one of the Tahirin and send him away. Mishalchen echad men l'derech chayk. We send him on a long journey away from Yerushalayim, in which case he's pater from the Karban Pesach, and he's no longer counted into this equation here, which results in Klal Yisrael having roiv tameh, which allows them to bring the Pesach b'tumah. Now Tosfos asks, why send away one of the Tahirim, which will result in most Tmein being left behind, rather than sending away one of the Tmein, which will result in more Tahirim than Tmein, and allow them to bring the Pesach b'tahara. Says Tosfos, because we're seeking to bring the Pesach Rishon, that all of Yisrael should have the opportunity to bring Pesach Rishon. Therefore, rather than sending away one of the Tmein, leaving most of Yisrael Tahir, allowing the Tahirim to bring B'tahara, but the Tmeim will not be able to take part in that. Rather than that, we do it in the reverse. We send away one of the Tahirim, which results in most of Yisrael being Tameh, which allows all of Yisrael to bring the Pesach Rishon. And in the case, Ula prefers this approach, send away one of the Tahirin rather than be Matameh him. Asks the Gemara, be Tamena b'sheretz. Why not? Why can't we be Matameh with the sheretz rather than sending him away? Kasavar, sheichtem v'zarkan al tmei sheretz. Because Ula holds, as opposed to Rav, Ula holds, you can bring a carbon on behalf of a person who was Tameh through a sheretz, who will be Tahor tonight. All he needs to do is be Toivel, wait for Herev, Shemesh for nightfall, and then take part in the Karban Pesach tonight. You can bring a Pesach B'Tahara for this fellow. So it's not really a solution. Being Matameh, one of the Tahirim with a sheretz, won't really change the equation. Won't allow the Tmein to bring Betuma, because he can just bring B'Tahara. It's only when we have the Yisrael who are Tmei Meis, who cannot bring their Pesach at this point, B'Tahara, which allows them to bring Betuma. But at Tmei Sheretz, he can send his carbon, we can do the Shechita and the Zrika on his behalf, B'Tahara. So he won't really influence, he won't really sway matters. He won't allow the Pesach that year to be brought Betuma. Fine. So Sheretz is not a solution. V'tamen of a mace. Let's just be Metamen with a mace. In which case, The only way for him to bring the Pesach is B'tumah. So he gets added to the Tmeim. Now we have most of Yisrael who are Tmei Meis. And they must bring the Pesach B'tumah, rather than sending him away on a trip. The downside with being Matame him with a mace is because he won't be able to bring his Karban Chagiga tomorrow. Chagiga, which is brought on the first day of Yom Tov, he'll be a Tmei Meis. If you're going to be Matamim today, he's Tamim for the next 7 days. So rather than being Matamim b'meis, which will deprive him of the Chagiga opportunity, we send him away on a trip. He's Patah on Pesach, and tomorrow he'll come back and do his Chagiga. But now that you send him away on a trip, you're depriving him of the Karban Pesach. That he can make up through Pesach Sheni. B'mes nami, that's the case. If you're okay with making up, when you're betaming him with a mace, Efshad David B'Shvi, he can still make up the Chagiga on the 7th day of Pesach. The Chatchil, you meant to bring the Chagiga on the first day, but if you fail to do so, you can always make it up throughout the 7 days of Yom Tov. Let him bring it on the last day of Pesach, the Havale Shmini Shaloi, which is actually his 8th day. He was tummy on the Erev Pesach. He's going to be tummy for 7 days. By the time the last day of Pesach comes along, it's really 8 days since he became tummy, which is already past his 7-day sequence. He's no longer tummy. He can bring the Chagiga then. Says the Gemara, Kasavar Ula Kulu Tashlumin Derishaninu. He holds that a Karban Chagiga, although you have makeup days, the days of Tashlumin are applied only in a case where this fellow was chayiv to bring it on the first day. If you're chayiv on the first day, if you're roy to bring it on the first day of Yom Tov and you neglected to do so, you can always make it up. The chazi b'rishon, chazi b'kul. One who is roy to bring the Karban Chagiga on the first day of Yom Tov, if he fails to do so, he can bring it throughout Yom Tov. He's roy, chazi b'kul, he can bring it throughout the rest of the days. However, if an individual was not roy to bring his Chagiga on the first day, such as in this case, if you're going to be Matamim b'meis, in that case, you can't make up for something which you never had an initial chiyuv to do. Therefore, rather than being Matamim this fellow b'meis, we send him off on a long trip. Although he can't bring the Pesach Rishon, he'll bring Pesach Sheni. What about Chagiga? He'll come back in time to bring his Chagiga on the first day of Yom Tov. Amul Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman turned to the Talmidim of the Bnei Yeshiva, and he said, Zilu v'imru le'ula. Go tell Ula, Man Sayis is sending away this fellow on the Derech Chayka. Who's going to listen to him? Man Sayis, who's going to listen to Akar Sichei Mashknei to uproot his Mishkan, his tent, and Sichei, his pegs, to pull out his dwelling, V'roit, and run off on a trip. Nobody's going to listen to him. It's not practical. Rather, says Rav Nachman, the way Tosfos explains, let's be matame this fellow with a mace, because Rav Nachman holds that even if a person is not ready to bring the Chagiga on the first day, he can still make it up. Therefore, that's a better solution than sending a person off on a limb. So, in conclusion, we have 3 shittas. When we have Yisrael half tummy, half Torah, we have a predicament. They have Tahir must do b'Tahara, but they can't because they can't disengage from the rest of Yisrael. It's a gnai, it's degrading. Says Rav, we take one of the Tahir and we matamim with the sheretz, resulting in more numbers of Tmein than Tahir. And everybody will bring the Pesach Rishon B'tum. Ula says, send off one of the Tahirim to Derech Chayka, which results in most of the individuals present being Tmein. In which case they all bring the Pesach B'tumah. Rav Nachman says, take one of the Tahirin and be Matamim with B'meis. Again, this results in more of Yisrael being Tamid than Tahir, which allows them all to bring B'tumah. Itma, we learned, what about the following case? Hayu Ruben Zoven. We know that the heter, the allowance to bring the Karban Pesach B'tumah, only applies to a Tumah which is sourced externally. Timei mace, they touch the mace, or they touch the shirt. but not internally sourced tumas like a zav. What happens if hayu ruban zaven? Most of Yisrael was zaven, which doesn't allow them to bring the Pesach Rishon B'tumah. Umi uton tmei mesim. However, a small portion of Yisrael with tmei meis. The question is, what do the tmei meis do? Are they allowed to bring Pesach Rishon B'tumah? On the one hand, we can say, well, they can't because they're just a miyut, not allowed to bring B'tumah. That's a concept which only applies to Roiv of Yisrael. It's Tzibur, a call, not a miyut. On the other hand, perhaps we can say, when the miyut is contrasted by a Roiv of Tahirin, well, then the Tmeina are insignificant and they can't bring the Pesach B'tumah. In contrast to this case, where most of the Yisrael are not Tahirin, they're Zaven. Perhaps they're discounted from this entire equation. They're not reckoned as part of the calculation here. And therefore, even if we only have a miyut of Tmei Meis, they're the only ones that are players here. And perhaps they can bring the Pesach B'tumah. It's as though we only have Tmein in Klal Yisrael, Tmei Meisim in Klal Yisrael. Omar Rav, he says no. The Tmei Meisim are excluded. Oisan Tmei Meisim einon oisim loy b'rishon loy b'sheni. They can't bring Pesach Rishon or Pesach Sheni. Rishon le'avdi, they can't bring Pesach Rishon B'tumah. Dehavo mi'uta, they're a mi'ut of Klal Yisrael. Or mi'uta le'avdi b'rishon. Whoever heard of such a thing that a mi'ut man should bring the Pesach B'tumah? They can't. B'sheni nama le'avdi. Likewise, they can't even bring a Pesach Sheni. Why? Kol heicha de'avdi tziba b'rishon. In your typical case where the tzibur brings the Pesach Rishon, the Pesach Rishon was brought properly. That allows for the individual to bring his makeup korban Pesach Sheni. It's the second phase of the process. When you have the tzibur bring the Rishon, the Yachid will come along and bring his korban Sheni. As opposed to this case, where there's nobody bringing the Pesach Rishon. Where you don't have a tzibur bringing the Pesach Rishon, the Yachid cannot bring the Pesach Sheni. According to Rav, there is no korban Pesach that year. Shmuel turned to the people and he said, Zilu imru leila Abba. Go tell Abba, this was a respectful reference to Rav, Abba, the chashav one. Go tell him, how can you say that there is no korban Pesach Rishon at all that year? This pasuk which instructs Yisrael to bring the Pesach Rishon in its time, how are you going to apply that pasuk? Amar lahu. So Rav responded, Zilu imrule, go respond to Shmuel. Ki have a kulu zaven. What are you going to do in a case where all Yisrael are zaven? They won't be a Pesach Rishon that year. Ela kiven le'efsha. Apparently, when you can't, you can't. Hachanami here as well. Le'efsha, you can't bring the Pesach Rishon. Generally, we bring the Pesach Rishon, but in a case where you can, you can't. Shmuel disagreed. Apparently, he held that, as Ritayz explains, since we don't have Roiv Tahirin bring the Pesach B'Tahara, in this case we have Roiv Zaven who are not players here at all, they won't bring a Pesach at all, therefore he holds that the Tmei Meis, despite the fact that they're merely a miyut, will bring their Pesach B'Tumah. So in conclusion, Roiv Azav, miyut Tmei Meis, Rav says, nothing doing, no Pesach Rishon, no Pesach Sheni. According to Shmuel, the miyut, which are Tmei Meis, will bring the Pesach Rishon B'Tumah. Itmar, we learned the following case. Hayu Ruben Tmei Meisim, Umiyutan Zaven. This is the other way around. Most of Yisrael were Tmei Meis, which allows them to bring the Pesach B'Tumah, and a miyut were Zaven, who cannot join with the tzibur because they've experienced a Tumah Hayotzim Agufa, a self-generated Tumah, in which case they can't join the Tmei Meis with their Pesach Rishon. The question is, will they bring a Pesach Sheni? Rav Huna Amar ain't tashlumen lePesach b'Tumah. You can't make up this type of Pesach which was brought b'Tumah. The Roiv Tmei Meis brought the Pesach Rishon b'Tumah. This doesn't allow for a make-up, a Pesach Sheni. Rav Ada bar Ava Amar, no. Yesh tashlumen lePesach b'Tumah, even a Pesach Rishon which was brought b'Tumah, such as in this case. does allow for a makeup. Therefore, the Zovan who couldn't join the Pesach Rishon will bring the Pesach Sheni. Name about Kamifli, perhaps this is the basis, the Svara of the Machlekes. Demand Omar Ein Tashlumen LePesach B'Betumah. Rav Huna holds that you can't make up a Pesach which was brought B'Tumah, Kasavar. He holds Tumah Tchuya Hi B'Tzibur, even though we're speaking about a carbon tzibur which allows for the carbon to be brought B'Tumah, but it's not a heter. It's not as though it's tar. It doesn't have the same level of hakrava as a Pesach tar. It's tumah dechuya. The tumah is a present. It's a concern. It's present. It's here. You're merely overriding it, and therefore it doesn't have the same madrega as a Pesach b'tahara, and therefore doesn't allow for a makeup. Umad Omar yesh tashlum lePesach b'tumah. Rav Yehuda bar Ava holds that even this type of Pesach can be made up, kasavar tumah hutra b'tzibur, that this carbon which is going to be brought to tumah is a hetel chatchila. It's as though it's a Pesach b'tahara. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a standard carbon Pesach, just as your typical carbon Pesach Rishon allows for a Pesach Sheni to be brought as a makeup carbon. This case as well will allow for a carbon Pesach Sheni, and the Zovan can bring the Pesach Sheni. Perhaps this is the point of contention. Dechuya or Horta? Amri, the Bnei HaYeshiva responded, Loi. Actually, perhaps this is not the point of Machlekes. The Kuli Alma, Tuma Dechuya B'Tzibur. Let's assume everybody holds Tuma Dechuya B'Tzibur. And this carbon Pesach doesn't have the same status and prominence of a Pesach B'Tahara. And the point of Machlekes is as follows: Mar Savar Tahara Metchaya Tumula Metchaya. Everyone holds that indeed only a carbon Pesach B'Tahara has the power to create a dichoye, a postponement, a delay, a Pesach Sheni for ones who need it. But a carbon Pesach B'Tumah doesn't have that ability to generate a carbon Pesach Sheni. Umar Savar Afilo Tumah Nami Metchaya, even a carbon Pesach B'Tumah, despite the fact that it has that inferiority, can generate a dichoy, a carbon Pesach Sheni for those who need it. So in short, we have mostly Tmei Meis, which will bring the carbon Rishon B'Tumah. We have some Zovan who can't bring it now, would like to bring it later. Rav Huna says they cannot. Rav Yehuda bar Ava says they can. A third case, Itzmar, Hoyishli Shishon Zovan. What if a third of Yisrael was Zovan? Ushli Shishon Tahir, and the third was Tar. Ushli Shishon Tmei Mesim, and a third with Tmei Meis. Now, Soises points out, we're following Shita as Rab, who holds that even if you don't have a majority of Klal Yisrael who are Tar, the Miut who are Tmei Meis cannot go ahead and bring their Pesach B'Tumah. So we're going along with that Shita. What is the halacha here? Omar Rabbi Mani bar Patish, Oisam Tmei Meis. You meant to know that that third Tmei Meis, they are excluded, they are deprived of both opportunities. They can't bring Pesach Rishon or Sheni. Rishon Le'avdi, they can't bring Pesach Rishon. You know why? Because they're only a mute. Higdilu Zaven ala Tahirim. Duli Avdi Betuma. Since the Zaven get added to the Tahirim who don't bring Betuma, meaning you have a majority of Yisrael who are not bringing the Pesach B'Tumah. A third of Tahir can't bring B'Tumah. And a third of the Zavan can't bring B'Tumah either because they're engaged in a Tumah HaYotzim Megufa. So you have 66% of Klal Yisrael can't bring B'Tumah. Havalei Tmei Meis Mi'uta. This results in the Tmei Meis being only a Mi'ut. U'Mi'uta Le'ad Rishon. And of course a Mi'ut or Tmei Meis can't bring the Pesach Rishon B'Tumah. And again, this is in line with Rav, who holds that even when you don't have a Roiv who are opposing that Miyat, a Roiv Tahirin, the Tmei Meisim still can't bring their Pesach B'Tumah. So they're out of Pesach Rishon. What about Pesach Sheni? B'Sheni Lo Yavdi. Nor can they bring Pesach Sheni. Why? Because now we have a Roiv who would like to bring Pesach Sheni. Nitzrefu Zaven in Tmei Meisim. The Zavan by now have become Tar. Now we have Roiv of Klal Yisrael who had not taken part in Pesach Rishon. Roiv of Yisrael who would like to take part in Pesach Sheni. The Zavan are Mitzdaref, the former Zavan who are now Tar, are going to join together with the Tmei Mesim, Doli Avdi Rishon. who all of them have not brought the Pesach Rishon, Havalu Ruba, which results in most of Yisrael coming to do Pesach Sheni. That can't work. V'ruba mitchul Pesach Sheni. Most of Yisrael cannot bring Pesach Sheni. Therefore, says Rani Patish, they will be excluded from both Pesachim, Pesach Rishon, and Pesach Sheni. So in conclusion, we have three cases. When Roiv with Tmei Zav, and Mir Tmei Meis. What is the status of the Tmei Meis? Rav says, they're potter from Pesach Rishon or Pesach Sheni. They can't bring Pesach Rishon because they're only a miut of Tmei Meis. A miut cannot bring the Pesach B'tumah. Despite the fact that you don't have Roiv Torah against them. Still, Rav says the miut Tmei Meis cannot bring Pesach B'tumah. Since there was nobody bringing the Pesach Rishon, there will not be a Pesach Sheni that year. Shmuel holds that the miut Tmei Meis can bring the Pesach Rishon. These Zavim are not players here, because they're Tamei. It's not like you have Roiv Tahirim against them. The Zavim are deprived of their opportunity. They're not players here. Therefore, Shmuel says the miut Tmei Meis are regarded as though they're the only one is in existence here, and they can bring the Pesach B'tumah. In the reverse case, Roiv who are Meis, so the Tmei Meis, majority of Tmei Meis can bring the Pesach Rishon B'tumah, and you have a miut of Zavin who can't bring now, who would like to bring later, Pesach Sheni. Rav Huna says there's no tashlumin for Pesach Rishon which was brought B'tumah. Rav Barava says there is a tashlumin, therefore the Zavin can go ahead and bring their Pesach Sheni once they're tar. What if we have a third, and a third? A third who are Tamei Zav, a third who are tar, a third who are Tmei Meis. And we're following Shitas. Rav holds that even when you don't have Roiv Tahirin to outweigh the miut Tmei Meis, the Tmei Meis still cannot bring the Pesach B'tumah. So they can't bring Pesach Rishon B'tumah. What about Pesach Sheni? Problem is that now we have a majority of Yisrael who are looking to bring the Pesach Sheni. We have the Zavin, who by now have become tar. We have the Tmei Meis, who have become tar. Roiv Yisrael are not nitchet the Pesach Sheni, and therefore the Zavin and the Meis are completely patur. Continues the Mishnah. HaPesach shenizruk damai, we know that a Korban Pesach is meant to be brought b'tahara. Suppose Yisrael were tar, and they brought the Pesach b'tahara. But after the Zrika, they discovered that something was amiss. The dam or the basar was tamei. HaPesach shenizruk damai, the Pesach whose dam was nizrak, v'achach noideshu tamei, and afterwards it was discovered that the dam or the basar is tamei. So this individual's Pesach turned out to be tamei. Hatzitz meratz, the tzitz has the ability to rectify that tumah, to undo the effect of that tumah. Since it's after the fact, after Zrika, the tzitz will be machsha that carbon, and the owner of that carbon was yotzei his chayiv. He doesn't need to bring a Pesach Sheni. This only applies to a tumah which was present in the actual carbon, the dam or the basar. But nitma haguf, suppose the owner himself was tamei. This was discovered later, and the owner had been tamei. Eina tzitz meratza, tzitz can't take care of that. Because the Chacham said like this: Hanazir v'yiseh Pesach. This applies to both cases: a nazir who brought his karbanis, or one who brought a Korban Pesach. Hatzitz meratza al tumas adam. The tzitz will address tumah which occurred with the dam. Ve'eina tzitz meratza al tumas haguf, but not tumah which occurred to that owner, the nazir or the owner of the Korban Pesach. That's one example in the Mishnah, one example of tzitz addressing the tumah which was present in the Korban. We have another example of tzitz being meratza, something called tumas hatohim, an unknown tumah. Suppose even the owner, now the chiddush is even the owner, the nazir or the owner of the Pesach, it was discovered that he had come into contact with an unknown tumah, a tumah buried deep on the ground, which was unknown, was as yet to be discovered. You did the shchita, and then you discover the owner had interacted with that unknown tumah. What happens now? Nitma tumas hatohim, hatzitz meratze. This will address that and allow us to proceed with the akrava. Let's see Rashi. 4 lines from the top. It turned out that it's tamei. What is tamei? Ha-pesach or yadam, either the carbon pesach, the basar or the tam. Ha-tzitz maratza. It says, addresses that. Potem pesach sheni, although he can't eat the basar, but he's potem pesach sheni. Nitmu balov, the owner became tamei. Tumas haguf v'meis. Ein ha-tzitz maratza. V'chayev las is pesach sheni. An owner who's tummy during the zrika is not suitable, is not fit for this carbon. This applies to the nazir, to the Isa Pesach. Hanazir, says Rashi, the nazir is meant to remain Torah until he brings the karbanos. If the nazir became tummy before he brings his karbanos, then he cancels all the days that he had observed as a nazir. But in this case, where after the zrika it turns out that the carbon was tamei, we say, well, it counts as a proper carbon, and even if now he went on to become tamei and to drink wine, his nazirus has already been completed, and he's okay. Hatzitz maratz al tumas adam. It only addresses the tumah pertaining to Adam, v'teglachtik shera. We say that his haircut is okay. This is the nazar, umutalish des yayin, tam lamesim, and he can go drink wine and become tameh. Ve'eretis mratzal tumas haguf. V'nitma be'es havas karban oisav, so he says hakar. It won't address tumah on the nazar himself. Suppose he became tameh. The tzitz won't address that, and he has to redo his nazirus. So this applies to a known tumah. What about an unknown tumah? Nitma gufay b'tumas hatoim, b'tumas suffik. The Gemara will explain exactly what this is. Hareza meratza. The tzitz will address that. The halacha Moshe Messinahu, the hutra tumas hatoim, lahem kedama Gemara. Gemara will tell us that we have a tumah which was as yet undiscovered, an unknown tumah. Tohaim is deep down on the ground. You did the shchita of the carbon pesach or the carbon of the nazar, and then you discover that the owner of the pesach or the nazar had interacted with this unknown tumah. It's okay. The tzitz will take care of that, and you can proceed with the karbanos. Continues the Gemara. Tama de nizrak v'achach neida. The Mishnah began that the pesach whose dam was already applied to the mizbeach, and then it was discovered that the pesach was tamei, and you're okay. The tzitz will take care of it. That only sounds like it's because it was after the zrika. Tama de nizrak v'achach neida. The zrika took place, and then it was discovered to be tamei. Aval noida v'achakach nizrak le'meratza. Apparently, if it was first discovered and then the zrika took place, the tzitz won't take care of that. But we have a kasha from the following halach. Al matzitz meratza. How does the tzitz work? Al adam v'ala basar v'ala chelev. Whether it's dam, basar, or chelev, shenitma. Ben b'shoigik, ben b'mezid, regardless of how it happened. Whether it was inadvertent, b'mezid, ben b'oines, whether it was something of an accident, not held accountable for, ben b'ratzin, whether it was willingly, ben b'yachad, ben b'tzibah, whether it's a carbon yachad or tzibah, the tzitz will take care of it. Apparently, even if the zrika took place b'mezid, you knew full well that it's tamei, and you did the zrika regardless, the tzitz will address that. Amar Ravina. The halacha, the brisa here, is not referring to the zrika aspect. Whether it was b'shoigi, b'mezid, that's not what the brisa is referring to. Rather, we're speaking about the point of tumah. How did the tumah occur? Tumasai, ben b'shoigi, ben b'mezid, hurtza. Whether it happened b'shoigi, b'mezid, it's irrelevant. It's okay. Meaning, whether the dam became tamei, even b'mezid, but then he proceeded to do the zrika b'shoigi, then you're okay. Tumasai, ben b'shoigi, ben b'mezid, hurtza. Zrikase, however, when it comes to the zrika, it depends on the circumstance. B'shoigig hurtza. If it was done inadvertently, it works. B'mezid lo hurtza, but if he knew that it was tamei, he did it anyways. The tzitz will not be meratza. This is the Rabbana, it's a knas. So again, the brisa, which doesn't differentiate between shoigig and mezid, is speaking with respect to how it became tamei. It's irrelevant how it became tamei. Even if it became tamei b'mezid, it still can be okay, provided that the zrika was done by accident. He didn't know that it was tamei. And this is very much in line with our Mishnah. The Zrika was done, and then it was discovered that it was tummy. The tzitz will take care of it. Reb Shila Amar, he says just the opposite. Zrikase ben b'shegig and mezid hurts. The brisa which doesn't differentiate between shegig and mezid is a reference to the Zrika. Whether it was by accident, whether he knew full and well that it's tummy, he did the Zrika, hurtza. It will be accepted l'ratzon by Hashem. To Masa, with respect to the point of contact of the tumah, to the occurrence of tumah, then it depends. B'shogig hurtza. If it happened by mistake, then nizrak, then it's fine. B'mezid lehurtza. But if he willingly was matamit, he was mavaza the kacham, that's not meant to be done. With the rabbanon, they applied a knas that, in this case, where he was matamit the dam b'mezid, you can't use it any longer. So according to Reb Shila, the point of tumah is dependent upon shogig and mezid. But if it was nitzvah b'shogig, it's irrelevant how the zrika took place. Even if he knew full and well, now he knows that it's tumah and he still is zorik and it's okay. If that's the case, how's Reb Shila going to explain our Mishnah? Sorry, what does the brisa mean? The brisa says, being b'shogig and mezid it works. Hachikamer. This is what the brisa meant to say. Nitma b'shogig. If it became tumah b'shogig, that's a precondition. V'zarka, and now he did the zrika, bein b'shogig and mezid hurtza. According to Reb Shila, you need to have a precondition that the tumah occurred b'shogig. If that's the case, then anything that happens subsequently is okay. The zrika, if it happened b'shogig or mezid, will still be okay. Now, according to Reb Shila, how's it going to explain our Mishnah? Which seems to indicate that if he did the zrika knowingly, it doesn't work. Vadik Tani. What about our Mishnah, which says dam shenizrak va'achkach noida? The dam which was nizrak and then was discovered to be tummy, it works. Tama de nizrak va'achkach noida. Apparently, it's only because the zrika took place and then it was discovered. Aval noida va'achkach nizrak loy. However, if it was known to be tummy and then he willingly, knowingly did the zrika, it won't work. According to Pshila, that's not so. As long as the tumah occurred b'shogig, he can do the zrika even b'mezid. Says the Gemara, who adin? No, let's not make that dik from the Mishnah. Who adin afilu noida v'achach nizrak. The same halacha would apply to even a case where it was known to be tumah and he did the zrika, and then he did the zrika regardless b'mezid. It's still going to be a ratzah. Ay diktani nizrak v'achach noida. Why, if so, did the Mishnah describe it in this case? That it's speaking where it was zrika and then known. The boy of the Mishnah is safe. It was on account of the next halacha in the Mishnah. Nitma guf and a tzitz maratza. That if the person became tamei, tzitz can't take care of that. And there we have a chiddush. Dafilu nizrak v'achach noy deloy. Even if the zrika took place and then it was discovered that the owner was tamei, it won't work. That's a great chiddush, because at the point of zrika he didn't know. He discovered it later. It still doesn't work. So on account of that chiddush, ktani reisha nami nizrak v'achach noy. That's why the reisha also describes it in such terms, that it was a zrika and then it was discovered on account of the chiddush in the sefer. But truly, in the reisha, it's irrelevant what happened first. Even if he knew full well that it was tummy, but did the zrika regardless, it's going to be meratz. So conclusion, we learned in the Mishnah that if the dam was tummy and the zrika took place, the tzitz is going to be meratz. We have two approaches. According to Ravina, the point of tumah doesn't really concern us. How it happened, whether b'shogig or mezid, it's irrelevant. What does concern us is, what did he know during the zrika? If the zrika was done inadvertently, he didn't know that it was tamei, then it works. But if it was b'mezid, it doesn't work. This, of course, is in the Rabbanon, it's a knas. Whereas according to Shila, it's the other way around. During the zrika, it's irrelevant of what he knew or what he didn't know. It's the point of tumah that concerns us. If he was metamit, b'mezid, then we don't allow the zrika to take place, and it doesn't work. But if the tumah took place b'shogig, then proceed freely. Even if he knows that it's tumah, he can go ahead and do the zrika, and the tzitz will take care of it. The Mishnah continued that this is only pertaining to the tumah of the carbon itself, but the owner who's tumah, that can't be addressed by the tzitz. However, if there was a unknown tumah, nitma tumas hatahoim, then the tzitz will take care of it, even if the owner was tummy. Boy Romi Barcham. Does this apply to the kohen as well? Kohen hamaratza bekorban the same. This halacha Moshe Messinai, Tumas HaTohim, is maratza by Korban Pesach and Nazar. What about the kohen who is tending to the korbanis? The Korban Pesach, the Korban Nazar, Hutreloi Tumas HaTohim, Oloi. Should we say that the unknown Tumas HaTohim is mutter by him as well? Or not? Mi Amrina, should we say Kigmir Tumas HaTohim bebalim? This halacha of halacha Moshe Messinai, Tumas HaTohim, addresses a tumah of an individual. Perhaps it only applies to the owner of the carbon. B'kohen like miri, but when it comes to the kohen, we haven't really learnt that the halacha applies there. Or dilmo perhaps, b'ziv hagmiri. This halacha was accepted regarding the carbon. Any individual involved in processing the carbon, whether it's the owner or the kohen, will have this halacha applied to him. Loishna b'kohen, loishna b'bailim, doesn't matter whether it's the kohen or the bailim. Amar Rav Tashma, let's bring a raya. Tarei b'chir. Lo amru tumas hatoim, el lemeis belvad. This halacha of tumas hatoim only applies to a tmei meis, not to other types of tumah. What was he coming to exclude? Lav lemuti tumas hatoim, the sheretz. Apparently, an unknown tumah regarding a sheretz. Taisa says, for instance, he stuck his hand into a hole in the ground, touched a sheretz which was as yet unknown, undiscovered. So tumas hatoim doesn't allow for that. Over my skin, and now let's analyze. What are we speaking about? Who became tamei with this sheretz? In name of a balam. Are we speaking about the owner? Ubeman, which owner? Ibn Nazar. A Nazar? Even touching a sheretz outright wouldn't cancel his naziris, wouldn't interfere with the process. Does a tumas sheretz affect him? Kiyamas mace olav amar achmana. Torah says if a mace, he should encounter a mace. Tumas mace will cancel his naziris. A sheretz doesn't affect him. Ela is a Pesach. Apparently, we're coming to speak about a owner of a Pesach. And we're saying, well, Tumas HaTohim can only rectify Tumas Meis, but not Tumas Sheretz. If the owner is a Tumas Sheretz, even if it's an unknown Tumas Sheretz, there's no Ritzitzitz in this case. Well, we don't need Ritzitzitz. Well, that's a problem. That works according to the Shita that says, Ein Sheichten V'Zoyken Al Tumas Sheretz. You can't process a Korban Pesach on account of an owner with a Tumas Sheretz. Fine. Then, it may sure does pose a concern, and Rabbi Yehuda is coming to be mamayit in this case, or if the owner of the Tamei Sheretz, even though it was a Tumas HaTohim, that can't be machshir his carbon. Fine. Elamad Omar Sheichten V'Zoyken Al Tamei Sheretz. But according to the other Shita who says you can bring a carbon even on behalf of an owner who is an outright Tamei Sheretz, a known Sheretz. Hashta Tuma Yadu Hutrulay. Now, if even a known Tumas Sheretz is mutter, he can send this carbon without any concern. Tumas HaTohim like Kolshkin, of course the Tumas HaTohim, an unknown Tumas Sheretz wouldn't pose a concern. So what's Rabbi Yehuda being memayit an owner who became Tamei Tumas Sheretz or Tumas HaTohim, he can have his carbon? Well, even if he was Tamei outright with his Sheretz, according to this Shita, he wouldn't have a problem sending his carbon. Elalav Kohen. Apparently, this is with respect to the kohen who is tending to the carbon. And Rabbi Yehuda is telling us, well, although generally Tumas HaTohim can be applied to the tumah, which is present by that kohen, but it only applies to Tumas Meis and Tumas Sheretz, and if the kohen happened to encounter even an unknown Tumas Sheretz, the tzitz can't take care of it. Ushmamina. And indeed we conclude, Hutrulay Tumas HaTohim. Apparently, even the kohen has this halacha of Tumas HaTohim, and that's why we have to be mamayit the sheretz. The kohen happened to become Tumas Sheretz, Tumas HaTohim, it won't work for him. So this seems to be a raya, a conclusion to our shaila. Does Tumas HaTohim apply to the kohen? Yes, it does. Amar Rabbi Yosef loy, not necessarily. Lo olam bebalim. Actually, perhaps we're speaking about the tumah pertaining to the owner, not to the kohen. Or the Pesach, an owner of the carbon Pesach. Rabbi Yehuda says only applies to mace. What is he coming to exclude? Suppose the owner experienced an unknown tumah, ziva related, as we're going to discuss Be'ez Hashem tomorrow, and that's what he's coming to be a might. But certainly Tumas HaTohim only applies to an owner, and perhaps not the kohen. Let's make a quick chazar of today's daf. At times we say Elu la'atzman ve'elu la'atzman. The Tohirim bring their Pesach b'tahara, the Tmeim b'tumah, and sometimes we say Kulam b'tumah, all bring b'tumah. When do we apply these things? We have four shittas. According to Tanakama, when it's half and half, each one does their own thing. When we have even one tummy overlapping, all bring b'tumah. According to Blazer and Masya, one overlapping is considered like half and half. Two overlapping allows all to bring Betumah. According to Reb Shimon, even one shevet is considered like a half, in which case the Tmeim bring Betumah, the Tayrim Betahara. When we have one overlapping, one Tameh over the Tayrim, they all bring Betumah. According to Rabbi Yehuda, even when it's one shevet Betumah, all of Yisrael follow suit. We have a case where it's Mechza, and we have predicament because the Tayrim can't do their own thing. We're following Rabbi Yehuda. We're not meant to disengage from the rest. What do? We have three solutions. Rav says we take one of the Tayrim, we make him Tameh to Masheretz, giving us a majority of Tmein, and all bring Betumah. According to Ula, we send one of the Tayrim away, B'derech L'chaika, which results in most Yisrael who are present here to be Tmein, and they all bring Betumah. According to Rav Nachman, Umetame one of the Tayrim with Tumas Meis. We have Roiv of Chal Yisrael HaZavan and Miut Tmei Meis. Rav says the Miut which are Tmei Meis can't bring Pesach Rishon. And if there's nobody bringing Pesach Rishon, nobody brings Pesach Sheni. According to Shmuel, since we don't have Roiv Tahirin, the Miut who are Tmei Meis can bring their Pesach Betumah. In the case where Roiv are Tmei Meis and Miut HaZavan, and the Pesach Rishon was brought Betumah, what about the Zavan? Can they bring Pesach Sheni? Rav Huna says no, because the Pesach Rishon was Betumah, which doesn't allow for a makeup. According to Rabbi Ava, you can't bring a Pesach Sheni even when the Pesach Rishon was brought Betumah. In the case we have a third Zavan, a third Tahir, and a third Tmei Meis, the Gemara says that Zavan and Tmei Meis are pater from Pesach Rishon and Pesach Sheni. The reason is because in Pesach Rishon, the Tmei Meis are merely a miut. They can't bring Betumah. And once they get to Pesach Sheni, we have the Zavan who just became Tar and Tmei Meis, which results in most Yisrael requiring a Pesach Sheni, and most of Yisrael cannot bring a Pesach Sheni. We concluded with the Mishnah describing the halacha of tzitz meratza on a tumah which occurred with a korban yachid. If the tumah occurred with the dam or the basar, the zrika works. According to Ravina, provided he did the zrika b'shegi, according to Pshila, even b'mezid. This only applies to tumah which is present on the actual korban, not the tumah pertaining to the owner. However, if it was a tumah satoim, an unknown tumah, in that case we say you could even do the zrika l'chatchila, provided he's already after the shchita. Once you've begun processing the korban, just complete it. This concept of tumah satoim applies to a nazar, a Osei Pesach, applies only regarding tumas meis. What about the tumah satoim, which happened with the kohen taking care of their korbanos? We leave it with a question mark. Be well and hatzlacha Rabbah.